Hello and welcome back to my channel. I know it's been a really long time since I've been here, and to be honest it has been a roller coaster of a ride or a journey from where I was at my last video up until now. Part of the reason that I didn't do any recordings in that time was because I guess I'd felt so low, depressed, financially, spiritually and everything else. I was about to say I felt so sorry for myself, but I think that's the one thing that I've learned over time, is that we as women, or personally I just felt that I can't let people see what I was feeling, how bad it really got, and I just didn't want to show that part of my life to anyone. I guess there are some things that we do have to keep private, but I did really hit a low point. So I thought it was time to update and bring you back to where I am now. From my last video it got to a point that because I had no more source of income, I do have skills and knowledge that I could share and make money from, but starting a business, I don't know if you've ever started a business, that really takes so long. But I guess in my desperation I thought I was going to do well and get some money that way, but it didn't work out that way. I think it was around end of April, beginning of May, where I totally ran out of money and I had no money to pay for bills, rent, food, what have you. And I managed to borrow some money to pay for the bills that was coming out of my account at the beginning of May. And I thought, right, okay, phew, at least I can relax for a little bit. But then it got to the 11th of May and I just couldn't find the money to pay the rent. And as you can imagine, I felt really stressed, anxious. I did not know where to turn or who to turn to, because I just had no one to turn to. And I was in the flat on my own, and all of a sudden, out of the blue, the front door opened and it was my landlady. So you can imagine the shock that was. I was washing dishes and she said to me, "How are you?" And I just literally broke down and explained to her what had gone on, that I wasn't able to pay the rent and it was already late. I think the rent was about 10 days late by that time. Thankfully she was really understanding and she said, "Look, I'm not going to throw you out, but the rent still needs to be paid, and I think the only option is to go and sign up for benefits." And I knew that was the only saving grace for me, because I had no other means of supporting myself, and it really I had to swallow my pride. I really had to swallow my pride and go and sign up for benefits, because it had been years and years of supporting myself and I had no choice but to go and sign up for benefits. And in all honesty, it got so bad that when the guys, he was about to explain something to me and he said, "Do you have any questions?" And all I could think was, I had just over £3 in my account. And I felt then how I feel now. To be honest, I was so emotional. And I said to him, well, I thought I read something on the internet that I could get an advance in benefits, and basically it's sort of an advance, but it's more of a loan where you can borrow up to a certain amount and you can pay it back in monthly. They basically deduct an amount from the benefits you're going to get. So I was so relieved, and there was an amount that I could have borrowed up to. But I knew that benefits, believe me, I do not want to live on benefits, but if you're at that point in life, you just have to do what you've got to do. And I asked for an amount, and the relief of knowing that that money was coming was quite immense. Yeah, so the relief of knowing that I had money was quite immense. Knowing that I will have my rent paid. Once I got out of the benefits office and I checked my account, and it was already in my account, and I was so relieved because I knew I'd be able to eat, and I won't starve. And it's amazing when you're going through all these processes, or this process of having some really down times in your life. Not only are you going through the down times, but your imagination also goes through so much anxiety, so many scenarios of things getting worse, and what am I going to do if this happens, or what am I going to do if that happens. And I really had to work at not creating all those scenarios in my life. And I think that is partly one reason that things have improved a lot for me. From I think around April or May time, when I posted my last video, was I worked really hard on changing my mentality, or my train of thought. I was listening to a lot of self-development, the law of attraction, law of assumption, and I know for some of you it may be such woo-woo rubbish, your head in the cloud scenario, but that is literally how I got through the most intense parts of this year, of the past few months. Is just, that was my only support, because I didn't know what was around the corner. All I knew was I had no money, couldn't pay the rent, had no food, or had no money to buy food. Don't get me wrong, I did eat, but the point when I went to claim benefits, literally, like I said, I had probably about £3.49 in my account. I did a lot of journaling, I did a lot of self-motivation, listening to everything, or watching a lot of videos on YouTube, just to keep myself from going downhill, basically. And because obviously you don't get benefits without showing that you are looking for work, I was focusing on setting up my business, doing social media, promoting what I had knowledge and skills in on social media. But if you've, like I said, if you've started a business, you can't just rely on one thing, you have to do other things. And without money, I couldn't do anything more than the social media stuff. So when it comes to the benefits, although I was getting benefits, I was being put through like intensive stuff. They put me through to lots of intensive help type thing, which was, I think one was for over 50s. I had to go into these classes nearly every day, I think it was, plus I had phone calls from a job centre person, as well as having to go in to the job centre and show that I'm willing, I'm working for getting the benefits. So that was tough because I walked for 2 weeks. I walked to the job centre because when you don't have a lot of money, it was, I think each way on the bus it would have been about £2 each way. And for me, £4 will buy me a little tray of £1.50, 2 bits of chicken from M&S, as well as a carton of soya milk. That's £3. And I also, when I got my benefits, I'd look for the yellow stickers, which meant that those were the foods that were already discounted and they were a lot cheaper than it would have been at full price. I bought lots of beans and lentils, and I could make that tray of chicken or whatever tray of meat I could afford, and I can make that last for 3 days, as well as the vegetables. Vegetables will always be really important because I feel that that's how I could keep myself going from a health perspective, and being at menopause as well, or now post-menopause, I knew that it was really important to eat, but rather focus on supporting myself through my food and diet and lifestyle and things like that, because I know that once you get down that negative train of thought, if you're also eating junk, it will really make things a lot worse. So that's why I knew that my diet was really important. I also had to go to quite a few job fairs, and that was quite tough, not just about the job fair, but when you have limited funds for food and then they send you to job fairs where you're having to spend like £8, £9, £10 on getting on the train or on the bus, all you're thinking about is this is like £10 is a week's worth of food money. So that was the tough bit about the job fairs. In August I attended a job fair. This is where again law of assumption or law of attraction came in as I walked, because it was about a 35-minute walk to where the job fair was, so I had plenty of time to start thinking positive, start to lift my energy, because they say your energy attracts whatever it is you're getting in your life. And thankfully it was during the summer, this was August, and it was a nice weather, and I walked there and all I could think was, how do I want this to work out? I didn't know how it was going to work out. I just kept my happy positive vibe as much as possible. So I did the rounds and I sat down, I looked at the list and I saw admin job. I got talking to the owner of, because it's a small family run business, and I got talking to the owner. We got on so well, and somehow I managed to ask her about the website and about her social media and things like that. And we got on so well, and to cut a long story short, I got the job. It's only part-time. I started at the beginning of September. It's been so good because with the extra money that I've got, although the job centre takes 55% of what you earn, and they will basically deduct that amount from the benefits you would have, you get. And I get 45% of my wages, plus whatever benefits I get left with after they do their own deductions, plus the deductions of the money that I borrowed. I got a little bit more than what I would have gotten in terms of just staying on benefits, and that's why I'm on a hard drive to focus on getting out of the benefits, because I really don't like being on benefits, but I have no choice. You know, you've got to do what you've got to do to survive, And that's what I've had to do, and now I'm gonna work my proverbial bollocks to get out of it and get on with my life without having to be told to go here, there, everywhere. So if you've watched till this point, I hope that you've enjoyed this mini update, and I will do an update number 2 to explain the rest of what's happened, what's brought me to where I am, and how life is turning up, and my journey from here on forward. Thank you for watching, and I'll see you in the next video.